Hello Jay and good morning. This is the Breville Barista Express model BES870 SLQ, salted licorice black color. This is the one you wanted to have a look. It's a trade-in refurbished model. It was actually given to me by one of my customers who upgraded to the touchscreen version. In this video, I'll be making a coffee on it. I'll be making my morning latte. So I'm just gonna grab a cup and talk you through the machine. So the machine had needed just some maintenance. Some of the connectors were a bit loose. Needed just a general checkup, change the seals on the machine. Did all the cleaning cycles. Machine works well. I'll be giving warranty with it as well. And yeah, condition-wise, it's pretty good. It's got some wear and tear on the front here, some stains. I'll try to clean some of those out after this video. But it's general wear and tear. But I would say very good condition overall. No massive dents or scratches that I can see. So yeah, in the beginning I like to turn on the machine and let it sit for maybe 5 or 10 minutes to let everything warm up. It generally takes about 1 minute to warm up. The boiler will be ready in a minute, but if you give it 5 or 10 minutes, that heat from the boiler will radiate to the handle, to the portafilter itself. You can even put your cups underneath. This will get warm. If you're in a hurry, you can still warm up your machine. You don't have to wait 5 or 10 minutes. You can just run a blank shot. So a blank shot means you get your handle, you get your cup, lock it in, and press the double button. This way it'll give you hot water straight through, and it'll warm things pretty quickly actually. You can do that once or twice. We can try the single button for you just to make sure everything works. And everything works, I've tested it before. Awesome. Cup now is very, very hot, so make sure you don't burn yourself. And the machine is ready to grind some coffee. So grab your handle, drain all the water, grab a tissue, dry it up. This is a double basket. It takes 18 grams of ground coffee. I'm going to use my scale to measure the input, so it should be around 18 grams. The output going into the cup, so liquid espresso going into the cup, should be double of what we put in, so it should be about 36. That's a general recipe for espresso, a 2-to-1 ratio. And it should brew in about 30 seconds in a perfect world. So we'll take this here and let's do some grinding. So the machine has a couple of settings you can play with. You can play with the short volume, you can play with the grinding dose quantity, you can play with the grind size. The grind size is the dial here on the left. It controls the space between the blades on the grinder, and it'll change the size of the coffee particles. If you increase the grind size, you get larger coffee particles, you get a larger flow speed. If you reduce the size smaller number, you'll get smaller coffee particles and a slower pour speed or brew speed when you make coffee. We don't want it to be too fast or too slow. It should give us the 36 gram shot in about 30 seconds. If our 36 grams comes in 15 or 10 seconds, that's way too quick. We don't want that. So we need to reduce it finer to slow it down. And on the other hand, if our shot, the 36 gram shot, takes a minute to come out or 45 seconds, etc., that's too long. We need to speed it up by increasing the grind size. Now I had a look just by texture, and the texture at grind size 3 was okay. So let's give that a try. Let's make a coffee at grind size number 3 and see if it's too quick or too slow, but hopefully it's just right. The grind size goes from 1 to 18, 18 being the largest setting. The grind quantity, so you can select a double quantity or a single. Let's just do the single twice. That way we can reduce the mess on the counter space here in the kitchen. So do the single grinding twice, because you can do the single, you can press it down, then do the single again. That way you press everything down nice and compact. Again, make sure the scale is on 0. You don't absolutely need a scale, but it helps if you do. That's my first dose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out, do that in a second. Let's measure. Hopefully it's the right quantity. It looks quite fine actually. We may have to increase the grind size, but we'll see. That's exactly 9 grams. So around the 12 o'clock mark on the grind amount here. Put it around the 12 o'clock mark up here. And the single, and with these beans that I'm using, the LD medium beans, I'm getting 9 grams. So do that again, it should be 18. Perfect. Let me see what that is. $18.2. I'm happy with that. If you don't have a scale, that's fine. Just make sure when you finish grinding, your coffee is all the way up at the top, which it is right now. It's all the way to the top of the basket, or the highest edge of the basket, whatever you want to call it. That's what it looks like before pressing. And after pressing, have a look at the silver part. This silver part should be the same depth of the coffee after you press. So it's a nice little design feature that Breville put in their tamper to give you like a visual aid. And it's perfectly tamped, exactly the same depth as this silver part. So the silver part disappears, then you've got the correct dose of coffee. If you can still see some of the silver part, so this is still showing, then you've got too much coffee. If you can't press any further, that's too much coffee. And if it sinks too deep in the basket, that's too little coffee. Nice. Make sure it's nice and level. Clean the outer edge and lock it in all the way to the right. Get rid of this water. Reset the scale. Let's try the double shot as is. I'm going to stop it if I think it's too long. Generally, the factory setting goes for too long. That's just been my experience. You can reprogram the buttons to whatever length you'd like. I'm going to go with a double and just go with what the machine gives me. If it's running too slow or too quick, we can also adjust it by the grind size. So this will adjust the actual speed of the flow, and this will adjust the length of the coffee shot itself, if that makes sense. Keep an eye on the gauge, keep an eye on the flow rate. Yeah, that's definitely too slow. I'm not even going to waste your time. I'm going to stop it there. I think this is going to take ages to brew, and it will taste very, very strong, too strong. I'm going to quickly get rid of that. I'm going to quickly clean up. So that was grind size 3. Let's try grind size 5. Hopefully it should be a bit better. If we've got enough coffee. Not sure if we do. Give it a flush. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to increase it to grind size 5. I'm going to get rid of the first couple seconds because it's the old coffee size. Now we're at the new coffee grind size. We're running out of beans, so I'm just going to add some more beans. Okay, more coffee added. Let's make sure the scale is on 0. Reset. Alright, that's my first dose. Got 9.4, so this is on the 11 o'clock setting. I'll leave it there, honestly. I'll just trim it down by a little bit. And then that's my first dose. This is the key step. Press halfway to compact the first dose. And that's my second dose. 18.5. You know what? I think next time try 10 o'clock position. Should give you closer to 17.5, 17 grams. Now this is 18.5. It's a bit too much coffee for me. So yeah, try the 10 o'clock position. Should give you closer to 18 grams if you do it twice. Okay, now I've trimmed it down with my hand. It's exactly 18 grams. And I'm gonna, like I said, make sure it's towards the edge. And then when you press, the silver part disappears. And then, just 1 second. Sorry, my doorbell was ringing. Yeah, so I have done the second attempt. So now it's at grind size 5, 18.2 grams in. Lock in all the way to the right. Grab your cup, reset it to 0 on the scale, and then let's make a shot at the double quantity. If you like to add sugar, hazelnut syrup flavors, recommend you add them now. So I'm gonna do that actually. I am gonna add some hazelnut syrup. Just a bit more. It's good. Reset the scale again. Let's try it at that double shot. I'm also going to time it as well. I'm getting good pressure. 10 o'clock on the pressure gauge. That was about 22 seconds. A decent shot, I would say. Oh, I could have let it run for more. So we could have let it run for another 5 seconds. So it's not recommended, but I'll let it run for a bit more. Doesn't look very nice, but generally better to let it run once rather than twice. That's 38 grams. Looks good. This is what 38. Let's say it's 40 grams. This is what 40 grams should look like. Nice crema, about a ½ centimeter of crema. Smells really good. Oh. And yeah, so in summary, this was a decent shot. So I had to stop it early because it was running for a bit too long. What I would do again, if I had more time and more coffee, I would program the button to run at the 40 gram dose or 38 gram dose. That way the machine will remember the dose every single time. But yeah, you can do it. It's very easy. You press the program button, you press the button that you want to change, and it will start making coffee. Obviously you had to have coffee in here. And then when you're happy with the volume, you press it again and it will save. It will beep 3 times and it will save the quantity. I wish I would have done that today just to show you how it's done, but that's alright. There's heaps of videos on YouTube. Now, just to tell you, I was using grind size 5. I was using grind amount at 10 o'clock, and I was using the single twice. It gave me really good results. And around the 25-second mark, we got our shot. So I think it's a really good shot. Make sure you mix up all the crema and all the flavors so you get a nice even cup of coffee. And then I'm gonna do what they call a magic. So a magic is just a small. Actually, let's do it that way. A magic is a ristretto shot. So it's an even smaller shot than this with a double shot. So it would be at 30 grams or 25 grams. So it would be a really concentrated shot with a small quantity of milk. So because this cup is nice and small, I'm only going to be able to do a small quantity of milk. So let's do a semi-magic, okay? When you want to steam, you turn this dial to the left or towards you, and it'll start heating up the boiler to give you steam. Take about 10 or 15 seconds to start outputting some water and some steam, just because the boiler has to go from 90 degrees all the way up to 130 degrees. Just like that. And it'll get a bit stronger. You want to turn it off position the jug and turn it back on. The depth of the wand, or the depth of the tip of the wand, will determine how much foam you get in the milk. So if you want to get really thick foam, you keep it close to the edge of the milk jug. Sorry, close to the top of the milk. If you don't want that much foam, you keep it deeper. You want to keep it at an angle like this, closer to the edge of the jug. You want to keep spinning it the whole time, so it mixes everything. It mixes the foam with the entirety of the milk. And then when it's too hot to the touch, generally about 60 or 65 degrees, when it's too hot to the touch, you want to turn it off. Then before you let it cool down, do a purge. Just turn it on for a brief 1 second. Let it cool down. Sorry, let it clean itself, and now it's going to cool down. So yeah, when you turn on the wand for a second, it will clean the hole, and then you also want to clean the outside. And then the machine will automatically cool down, as you just heard. It'll purge some water to cool down the boiler, and now when you see the buttons light up, you're ready to make another espresso shot or another coffee. You also have a hot water tap here. It'll give you clean hot water straight from the boiler. Bypasses the group head, so just get a straight line. And it's good for things like a long black Americano style coffee. It's good for tea bags. If someone in your party doesn't drink doesn't drink coffee, you can brew them a tea bag. And it's also good for, like, I don't know, if you want to add some water to mix your sugar, or if you want to warm up a cup, you can use this to do that. Alrighty. And at the end, you want to obviously clean the group head. So like before, take this out, knock it into the bin, and then do a quick flush. So press a single or a double shot. It'll give you hot water. It'll clean the shower screen itself, and also the basket here. You want to go back and forth and make sure it's nice and clean. And if you have extra time on your hands, I always say good to grab a tissue or a towel and go through the nooks and crannies in the group head. So there's all these little angles that collect coffee, if you can see that, that won't even be cleaned with a flush. So do the machine some justice and clean it every now and then, and it will thank you with a long life and good coffee. Let's not let the milk sit for too long. Let's finish cleaning. Get the jug, mix up the milk. So if you've got any big bubbles, break them up by knocking the jug on the counter. And then keep swirling around. Mix, mix, mix until the surface is nice and smooth, like wet paint. Not my best work. I think I was focused too much on talking and not enough focusing on the actual steaming, but it should be okay. Let's keep mixing it up, break the bubbles, and that's it. And then pour. Okay, I ran out of space, but look, with some practice, with good milk quality and time, you will get really good results on this machine. I managed to do a bit of a fat heart. I don't know what that looks like, but got a good amount of foam. Smells really good. It was a good good shot weight, good yield, and good speed. I think you can make it better coffee than me if you do some practice. I think you'll enjoy this machine. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Any questions, please don't hesitate. Cheers.